as we already know, for a worldwide release. The title of the video implies this is not perks that are in Far Harbor. These are perks that you'd want to use leading up to Far Harbor. These are perks that I absolutely recommend. I'm level 99, and through conversations with other gamers, people that play Fallout 4, I've learned that there are some very needful, overlooked perks that most people are not paying attention to. So what I felt the need to do was do a video to discuss or talk about the perks that are absolutely going to be necessary, especially if you're starting off at a low level, say like 32 or below, which it's really recommended that you complete Far Harbor between level 32 and higher. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, because I feel that this is really important to talk about. And if you're playing Fallout 4 for the first time and you're feeling pretty challenged and want to go and play Far Harbor without first playing a bit of the story, then I would definitely recommend following the advice on this video. And this is through gameplay, so just please understand that through game testing, through using a bunch of the different perks, this is what I recommend through over 600 hours of gameplay. So here we go. Alright, let's go to the perk chart. Okay, perk number 1. Let's talk about the Refractor perk. So what we know so far is that the two factions, or the two groups of people that we're going to face in Far Harbor, are the Children of the Atom and the Synths. Now, the Synths in Far Harbor are considered a faction, so you're going to have your nemesis, you're going to have your enemies, and we all know that the Synths use laser type weapons. So with the Synths, you have to worry about energy damage. With this Refractor perk, what it does is each level of this perk gives you a benefit of reduced energy damage. Now, let's say you don't want to use power armor, or you have very few power cores and you don't want to use power armor. And let's say that you decided to help out the railroad and you got the ballistic weave armor and you've incorporated that into your regular clothing, but you still want to have that extra protection. Well, Refractor, basically for each level of the 5 levels of that perk, gives you an additional 10% or 10 plus energy resistance. And as that perk goes to maximum of plus 50 energy resistance, that's what I definitely recommend a lot of people choose if you have points to spend. If not, get that before you actually head over to Far Harbor. It's definitely recommended. I mean, it helps me out a great deal. Alright, then the next one that I wanted to talk about is the where's it at? Where's that perk at? The Aqua Boy perk. Now, it's not recommended that you do both, but the most important one is the very first level of this perk, which allows you to take on, which allows you to be able to swim underwater and not take radiation damage from the water, and you can breathe underwater, so there's no more worrying about whether or not you're going to drown. So that's definitely a perk that I truly recommend. Now, another one that's pretty interesting that I noticed a lot of people did not pick through conversation, and that's Awareness. Awareness is a very interesting perk. Now, you might think that you don't really need that when you're trying to demolish an enemy, but let's just say you want to be sneakful, or you want to be sneaky. You'd rather be sneaky, you'd rather be stealthy. This is a perk you'd want to use because it shows you the enemy's stats in VATS. So when you target an enemy, you know what their weaknesses are and you know what their strengths are. So you know exactly how to approach this enemy when you go to fight them. Okay? That's perk number 3. The next one is one that a lot of people, which I'm very surprised, do not choose this perk. But the Scrounger perk, okay? Most people complain that they don't have enough ammo, and what a lot of people do is they buy ammo. And that's very unnecessary. If you have the Scrounger perk, if you have it completely maxed out, you don't have to worry about buying any ammo because you're going to find plenty of it every time you loot something or you look in a chest, a safe, a drawer, a cabinet. No matter what it is, in the wasteland, in buildings, it doesn't matter. You're going to find plenty of this stuff. Okay, so I definitely recommend that. The fourth one that I recommend is the Grim Reaper Sprint. The Grim Reaper Sprint basically gives you an additional percentage to restore your action points. Now we know what the action points do. The action points allows you to use your weapon almost infinitely depending on the type of weapon that it is. So if you have a better chance of restoring all your action points, that really works well for anyone that likes shooting their way into a situation. Okay? The last and final perk that I want to talk about is the Fourleaf Clover perk. This is definitely one that was very hyped in the beginning when Fallout was about to arrive for, you know, everyone to play across the world. But what happened was it kind of got lost in the shuffle of all the other perks, and a lot of people just overlooked it because they saw stuff that was better. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm assuming it. I'm saying this because this is what people tell me when I talk to them. So what I definitely recommend is choosing this perk because this perk works very well with the Grim Reaper Sprint. The Grim Reaper Sprint restores all your action points. And with the Fourleaf Clover perk, what it does, it allows you to refill your critical hit meter. So if you receive all of your action points and your action point bar is completely filled, when you go to shoot another enemy, you will have a full critical meter, and it will allow you to get maximum damage out of your weapon. So these two go hand in hand, so I definitely recommend those two. Okay, of all those perks, of all the perks on the perk chart, those are the most important 5 that I recommend. Most everyone else already have certain types of perks. If you don't have the radiation perk, you know, you probably use power armor a lot. But again, if you're just starting out in this game and you're having a tough thing with resources, I definitely recommend the Scrounger perk for ammo if you use your guns a lot, if you're not a melee type of person. Definitely pick that if you want to either conserve on your ammo or you don't care about using up your ammo because you're going to find more. Alright? And then the awareness perk. Being able to see the enemy's weakness is very important. Well, at least for me, because a lot of times I like to be stealthy. I'm a lone wanderer. I like to go solo. So because I don't have any backup, I need to know who I'm dealing with. And the awareness perk is very good because it shows exactly what type of weapon to use. And that's really important to me. The Aqua Boy perk. We don't know if you're going to go underwater in Far Harbor, but according to one of the trophies listed, there's at least 30 different creatures. So let's just assume that there may be some sort of underwater adventure. Now we know you can breathe underwater with the power armor suit on, and I believe there's actually a certain limit that you can stay underwater. I'm not exactly sure, don't quote me. But I do know that if you have the Aqua Boy perk, there's no set time for how long you can be underwater. You can be underwater indefinitely. Okay? And then the Refractor perk. This perk is, like I said, very important if you're going to be facing a lot of synths. Okay? And we don't know how tough these synths are. We don't know what weapons they're going to be using in Far Harbor, if they're going to be using any new weapons. But let's just say that their weapons that we're familiar with are a little bit more powered, you know, or a little stronger. You definitely want to go with this perk right here because the extra energy resistance is going to make all the difference in the world. Alright, so I didn't want this video to be long. I just wanted to mention those 5 things regarding perks that most people overlook. So if this doesn't apply to you, you know, pass it on to somebody that may want to use that information. If it does apply to you, definitely take a look at your perk chart you know, see if you have points to spare. You know, put at least 1 point in each of these perks just to see if it actually works out for you. But through me using them, me recommending them to other people, from people playing with these perks, they actually work, and they work very well. So if you incorporate these into your character, you're doing yourself a benefit. Okay? Thank you everyone for checking out the video, or at least stopping by and checking out a few seconds of it, a few minutes of it. I appreciate it. Take care.